Hey everyone, this is the ShutInBakas. My name is Chris. So today we are going to be talking about Attack on Titan. This is a show that I have only just watched. As of 2 weeks ago, I started binging Attack on Titan. Now don't get me wrong, I have watched the show before. I never really got into it, I'm not going to lie to you. I got about halfway in, got bored, and stopped watching many years ago. I read the manga as well. I got to the part where they found the Titan in the wall. I thought it took quite a long time to get to that point, so I dropped it. And now that the final season was out, all my friends were like, okay, Chris, you need to binge it, you need to get caught up to date, you need to watch this, it is so good. I said, right, fine, whatever. Yeah, it turns out it's good. Anyway, I wanted to make a video of my own personal thoughts on Attack on Titan, and, you know, this isn't going to be like a comprehensive review, like a big brain out of the world review. This is just going to be my thoughts on this different seasons cut into parts. So if you want to watch certain season parts, I'll put like timestamps, I guess, maybe in the description, or I'll try and figure out the chapter thing on YouTube. Anyway, take it away, future me. So, Attack on Titan, Season 1. This one was the rough part for me. I really didn't like this part. Now, not because it's a bad show, don't get me wrong, I love Attack on Titan now, it's just that this part, for me, was kind of meh. Because I had already seen the manga, and I already knew everything that was going to happen before it happened. So, I didn't really need to watch this, but I did, because I wanted the completionist aspect, I couldn't just leave it, empty on Mal, that would just ruin my day. And yeah, basically, I stuck it through. And while the pacing was good, don't get me wrong, it's so much better than the manga, but it was still a bit of a slog. I don't know if it needed to be 25 episodes. Like, obviously, yes, it needed time to do the whole Annie female Titan arc, but honestly, that was a bit bleh. But the point is, this show was laying the groundworks for the later seasons, so for that, I cannot, hate on it because of the stuff that happened in this season, we can look back on this and go, oh, wow, okay, that happened because of that, or Annie's like that because of this, and, it's stuff like that where you start off with the mediocre and then you get to the fantastic. Like, that's my sort of idea. I mean, I think. I don't really know, this is kind of hard to explain, but hopefully I'm doing a good job explaining this, I'm not really sure. So yeah, overall, I don't really want to, be one of those guys to just, bleh all over the first season. I think the animation was fantastic, like the fact that all of the Titans were 2D animated, sporadically, and sorry, I'm stuttering quite a bit here. The times where they did the aerial combat were fantastic. A lot of the voice acting, I watched this pretty much entirely dubbed, by the way, so yeah, again, wreck me if you want to, but I watched it dubbed. But the point is, I think the dub is pretty good. It gets the emotions across, and since there's nothing really to do with Japanese culture in this show, it doesn't really require knowledge or make the voice actor sound cringy, if you get my meaning, because think of it like this. If you got a character that is talking about a Japanese dessert, speaking about it in English like it's just commonplace, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But since this is a, fictional Eastern, European kind of world, did it make sense that they would speak English or just any language in general? I mean, sure, the Japanese would also make sense, but the point is, the English makes sense and works, so you don't have to worry about, any dub problems. I haven't even noticed a single one. The only thing I can kind of complain about is I really am not a fan of Bryce Pendenbrook, or whatever his name is. Sorry if I butchered that. You're a good guy, but your voice sounds the same in every show you do, man. I'm sorry, but you sound the exact same. Basically, he plays every shonen protagonist ever, and every character he does play sounds the same. and Eren basically sounds like a crybaby the entire time. Now, of course, I get the fact that Eren is like this because of a reason. I don't know that yet because I haven't watched that like 2-hour long analysis on why Eren is a good character. But when I was watching it, Eren was pretty insufferable sometimes. Like, he was all whiny and crying, and yes, I get the fact that he's a young child, and he's doing so much traumatic stuff, but it's like, this is a shonen anime, guys. Like, well, at least I think it is. But, grow some balls, man. If you're gonna kill all the titans, you gotta grow some balls. Not that I can say anything, because I have none, but, it's it's still a point, like... I don't know, man. It's just kind of hard because Eren goes from being whiny to badass to whiny to badass to kill me to badass to whiny. It's just all over the place, and that kind of makes him a more realistic character. He's not just a one-trick pony. He's not just, the Kudiri. He's not he's not the one technique, character. He's got a whole range of emotions. And overall, Eren is a decent character. It's just, I found him quite annoying, mainly because I'm guessing Bryce really didn't do a very good job portraying his character. I found his voice way too whiny. Let's talk about some other characters. Armin, he was alright. He doesn't really get much, screen time, because he's mainly the analytical guy, and the one that also cries a lot. He's the smart one in the group, so, he's like the leader, or the plan maker, but, not yet in this season, that is. And, I mean, he did a good job at doing what he needed to. He was the kind of, the anchor, I guess you could say, for the group. But, overall, yeah, he was a bit of a lame character. He, just made good plans, and that's about it. He's basically the Tails the Fox of the Attack on Titan universe. I don't know how I managed to weave a Sonic the Hedgehog reference into Attack on Titan, but I did, so there you go. Yeah, so Armin, he's alright. The voice actor did a good job. He sounded accurate. And yeah, that's about it. Mikasa, this one's an interesting one. Mikasa's a weird one because she's really cute, hot, and also terrifying all at the same time. It's very strange. She's that character at the beginning where you're like, oh man, she's really cute, want to protect, but then she's the one protecting you, so it's a bit of a weird one there. And overall, I think Mikasa is a good character. She's got a lot of depth to her. She's not just the yandere or the, must protect Eren. No, because later on you realize there's a lot of reasons why this has happened. Yeah, so anyway, basically it was a very good first season overall. There was a lot of problems with pacing for me. I didn't really enjoy the slog of, 10 episodes chasing down the female Titan. I get the fact that was a very tense situation, but yeah, and they were also foreshadowing a lot, which I will have to say, the foreshadowing in Attack on Titan is nuts. Absolutely bonkers. So, anyway, I want to wrap up the Season 1 part of the video. So, yeah, let's jump into Season 2. So, Season 2. This is where things started to get good. Again, not that Season 1 was bad, it's just this was better. So, Season 2 started off with Sasageo, as everybody knows, the song that everyone chants. Basically, Season 2 just was much better. The pacing was good. They showed a lot more of their hand when it came to storytelling, the conspiracy plots, the government trying to, overrule everyone. They were doing a very good job at, showing us little details, but also keeping it close enough that, we don't know everything that's happening. So, overall, I think this was a, very, very good second season. To get a bit more in depth, I found the part that, they found out Reiner and Berthold's identities as the Colossal Titan and Armored Titan was reasonably bare bones. I mean, it was obvious, Armin's big brain, so he was able to figure it out. But overall, I found that the whole reveal was kind of, really? that's it. no like dramatic, giant piano, music. No, it was just, oh yeah, I'm the Armored Titan, he's the Colossal. I mean, I guess that was the point. It was just kind of a casual, funny, more realistic thing, I guess. But yeah, it just kind of didn't have a very interesting mood to it. Anyway, that part where they introduce themselves and Mikasa like cuts off Reiner's hand or whatever, and like almost like he basically stabs Bertolt. Stabs Bertolt in the neck or something. She was going for blood, and yeah, it was nuts. And they transform, and yeah, it was nuts, man. This part was really awesome. This was the best part of season 2, if you ask me. Because basically it was just Eren, who was, a fairly, well, I wouldn't say new, but, a newbie in the Titan transforming world where, these two, spoiler, military-trained Titan users just show up and say, you know what, yeah, nah, you're dead, you're donezo. And, yeah, basically, Reiner is not a very good fighter. He's more of the charge and hit. Whereas, luckily, Eren knew his, bloody taekwondo or whatever martial arts from Annie. Otherwise, he would have lost that battle horribly. And at the end of the day, Eren obviously lost and went on his being kidnapped adventure. That seems to be Eren's hobby, aside from crying, being kidnapped. That's his secondary hobby. And, yeah, he gets kidnapped because the Colossal decided to do a kamikaze and, destroy everything, which I also thought was really badass. And, yeah, then we find out that, Ymir was apparently a Titan, and it was all over the place, man. It was all over the place. Ymir was like a queen, or like a self-proclaimed queen, back in the real world. I cannot explain what the stuff is because I can't put it into words because it's just really hard to put into words. You have to watch the show if you haven't. For me to even say what happened in this, series would take forever. So just overall, fantastic second season. We got to find out a lot more about the world. Because, the whole point of the first season was kind of just to put you in the world of this. This is the world. This is what they think of the world. It's kind of like the Truman Show. I know this is going to be a really, kind of a far-fetch, but it's a bit of like the Truman Show, where at the beginning, everything seems normal. Everything is revolving around this guy and his world. And everybody else is revolving around him, much like the series, where everything is kind of revolving around Eren and humanity in this, big little wall, and these big walls of, towns and houses and farmland. And everything else outside of it is an unknown. Just like the Truman Show's, world, because he didn't know anything about the outside world, because he never left. Just like Attack on Titan. So, I really hate that I had to bring up that sort of a reference, but there you go. And at the end of the day, it's a very good way of introducing these sorts of questions, because the first season had a whole lot of, what are the Titans? Where'd they come from? How come only some people can transform into them? If they can everybody? That's the questions that the first season answered. Rose up, raised, and then didn't answer. Second season also didn't answer those questions. Instead, they just rose more questions. That's the great part about Attack on Titan. Don't answer the questions, just ask more. And yeah, honestly, the pacing for the season was so much better. I think the only real issue was the, honestly, just the part before the Colossal and Armor Titan show up. They kind of had this little excursion going on, which took a few episodes longer than I would have liked, but it was all for the name of Historia plot development. And also the Beast Titan shows up for a brief moment, which was cool because I never knew what he was about. I just remember he was the monkey man. And yeah, he's an interesting character because he's a talking titan who can control other titans. Which, that's a new one. So overall, just wanted to, say Season 2, very good. I really liked the part at the end that was very, I would say, very forward, analyzing, kind of going, ooh, now Eren can control the Titans, but not really. Yeah, that was very awesome stuff. So, that's it for Season 2. On to Season 3. The long-awaited Season 3, Part 1. So, this one was very good. This one basically took all of the conspiracy, political, and government issues from the second and first season, not really the first, but the second season, and basically said, okay, that but a whole season. So, basically, in this part, they are renegades because they have found out something that they don't need to know, or the government don't want them to know. Because they're finding out that, the Titans aren't merely just rampaging beasts, they're people, and how can this be? There's the outside world that the bad guys like Reiner and Berthold were talking about. And, yeah, the scout regiment is asking questions that the government don't want to answer. So, they send off a assassin called Kenny. Yeah, the most imaginative name ever. You know what, if I had to imagine a cowboy, I would really imagine Kenny, but yeah. Anyway, so this part introduces human-on-human combat, which is a first, really, for this show. There has been the odd threat, or, training here and there, but this is the first season to introduce full-on combat and death between humans. Because before it was all about, we must kill the Titans, we must kill them all. And now it's, the Titans really aren't the bad guys, are they? So, the assassins, obviously, they are very ruthless. They have guns. They have these guns that they use with the, what do they call it? The gear, the flying gear. I'm sorry, I don't remember what they call their little flying around gear, maneuver gear, and basically they have that but with guns, and it's very effective. They can kill people very easily, and the problem is at close range combat they suck. But that doesn't seem to matter for Levi, because Levi just is a monster. He's an absolute unit. In the first season he was just kind of there. He was able to beat Annie and all those other guys, but second season, he was able to wreak some havoc. Third season, my lord, he just wrecked some people in that first bit, because he was basically going ham and used all of the animation budget for that season all in one go with that town scene with the assassins. That was nuts. Anyway, enough sucking that scene's dick. Basically, it was a good introduction to the other parts of the world, because other than the Titans and the outer rings of the world, we didn't know much about the center, where all the high-ranking, political people, the king, all that sort of stuff. We didn't know much about them. And, yeah, honestly, we don't really know that much, but they really did introduce a lot of good, development into the world, because before it was poorer, not as poor. Now it's just, oh yes, luxury, let me get a, sip of my cup of tea, that sort of thing. And overall, it was a very good stark contrast, because this place is where Annie and all of the other people who protect the walls go to after not going to the scout regiment. So we got to see all sorts of, stories with them and the people who are back there going, oh, I probably should have joined the scouts, I'm much better, I feel like I'm wasting my time. And yeah, honestly, they were, but they probably picked the right choice, because they would have died a horrible death otherwise. But the thing with this season was, it kind of just said, hey, you know how Historia is kind of an important figure? Let's just say she's royalty. Damn. Sure, why not? Let's also say that Erin's father killed her entire family. I don't actually remember the thing. I'm pretty sure that it was her sister. Yeah, something like that. Sorry, it's a bit hard to remember. There was so many plot twists in that little arc that I lost it completely trying to keep track of everything. So I'll just leave it at it was nuts. There was a lot of interesting stuff, such as Eren being captured and crying. Sorry, I had to get an Eren dig in there somewhere. Basically, Historia managing to say no to Daddy, dearest, and release Eren, and Eren still crying. Look, alright, I know there's a good reason why he's crying, but it's just, you get old. It gets kind of old pretty quick, man. Anyway, Eren kind of has these things, because since he touched royalty blood, it seems that he was able to get in touch with the founding titan within him, which basically was because his father kills the founding titan in his attack titan form, and then gained the founding titan's inner powers, but he can't use them because he's not of royal blood. But since he's got the founding titan inside of him, every time he touches royal blood, the powers activate. And basically, I think that is the reason why Eren was able to see the past, because he was able to use the founding titan to look through the memories of other people. I might be completely misunderstanding that, let me know, but that's how I interpreted it. And overall, there was quite a lot of mindfuckery going on. This is the part where everything just kind of goes, okay, so try to remember. Get a notepad. This is basically that part of the series. And honestly, I like it that way. This part was nuts. It honestly cemented why this show is so good. To me, personally, I wasn't a huge fan of the first season, mainly because there was nothing to it. It was just kind of kill the titans, find out where they come from, what they do, all that jazz, as a secondary objective. But second season kind of introduced these theories and these little mystery tidbits that made you go, okay, that's interesting. Third season kind of goes, okay, so here's some answers, and here's some stuff that you probably don't want to know because it's depressing as fuck. And it is very well told, because basically it's just one big prolapse of, hey, this happened, this also happened, Eren's crying, this happened also. I'm sorry, I can't help it, it's such an easy joke. Yeah, so overall, first part of season 3, great, because we got a change of pace with the human-on-human combat, and we also got this giant mutant titan, which was bigger than the colossal. I don't really know what the point of that was, but hey, it was a epic moment, an epic gamer moment, as you might say. And we also got to see Historia finally kill something and become, best girl. So, there you go. We got good stuff there. Also, the third season is possibly my favorite. It's quite a tough one with that in the first part of the final season, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Speaking of, Season 3, Part 2. Right, so, the best action part of Attack on Titan, full stop. So, Season 3, Part 2 was a banger. Let's just get that out of the way real quick. Absolute banger. So, basically, we got the whole point where everyone was saying, okay, but what about the basement? Where's the basement at, guys? Come on, where's the basement? This has been the objective since, it's like the starter quest that you get at the beginning of a game, but then they went off and did all the side quests first. Sort of. The first quest is to go to the basement, and then they did all of the side quests first. So basically, now we're at the main story quest, and yeah, it is nuts. Basically, they go back to Walmaria. I'm pretty sure that's the place where Eren is all that from. And yeah, basically they find Reiner and Berthold and, the big beast man Titan boy. Just waiting there. Well, not waiting. Well, yes, they were waiting to ambush them, and didn't really go according to plan because Armin's too big brain for them. And yeah, there was just a lot of big, plot points here. They talked about, Reiner and Berthold's past, more or less, and they had little tidbits into the other world, the world that they're from, and they had some very good fight scenes. I think the best one is obviously the the Levi versus Beast Titan that everyone says that is just at best because of the animation budget and how much he just wrecks Zeke. And yeah, there is just a lot to go through, really. There's the whole start with Eren versus Reiner. Reiner doesn't stand a chance because, Eren's much more accustomed to his Titan powers. He's able to use his hardening ability, and he's got a bit better at his martial arts, so he's able to take care of Reiner very easily. Berthold can kind of just show up and wreck shit, kill people, and he's really just not that timid guy anymore. He's that, I'm gonna get shit done because I need to kind of guy. And Zeke is kind of still the mystery character at this point, where it's like, who the hell are you, and why is everyone so afraid of you? Or, freaked out by your appearance here. And overall, the fights were great. The part where Berthold showed up as the Colossal Titan, that was good, because basically they just had this giant Titan that no one could do anything with, because the Colossal is very OP. He basically is so big that they can't cut his neck, really. Without the maneuvering gear, obviously. So the normal attack Titan can't do anything to it. And any of the foot soldiers who can get up close enough to his neck, it just flings away with his big steam. And yeah, that's a very tough opponent to beat, but, Armin was too big brain and a suicidal maniac, just like Eren, kind of rubbed off on him, I guess. And yeah, he got turned into a burnt potato. He got turned into a chicken nugget. So yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm doing my boy a bit dirty there, but it's true. So yeah, basically that happens. Eren is all like, "Oh, Armin, stay with me, please." And Levi, after having beaten the crap out of Zeke and Zeke escaping, because the Cart Titan arrives with the goofiest face of all time. And, of course he runs away saying, "Oh yes, my brother, Eren, bye." It's like, oh, okay, you're just gonna leave us with that info. Okay. Sure, why not? And, yeah, so then Levi comes along with this Titan syringe because he got it from the guy who tried to turn Historia into a Titan to eat Eren. And then, oh my gosh, it's a conundrum. Does he eat Armin, or does he inject Armin with it and make him eat Berthold to become a Titan, or does he inject Erdwin, the natural born leader? Oh, the conundrum. He injects Armin. I was just honestly going the whole time. I mean, Armin isn't a very obvious choice because, Erdwin is a much better leader and would be much more use in a war. But having thought about how much Erdwin has gone through, it's honestly fair that he gets to die, he deserves death after all he's had to, suffer through. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of a rough topic, but yeah, honestly, with all the stuff he's gone through, death is just kind of like a fair enough kind of thing. And yes, after all the big fights had happened, they went into the basement. Yeah, what are they going to find? Are they going to find a cure? Are they going to find out where the Titans are from? Joke's on you, fuckers. Looks like we just found racism. and genocide of a race. That was a very interesting plot point. It's very weird how I haven't really... I think the most important part for anyone to really go into this is to go in blind. Obviously, if you're at this point, you're already spoiled if you haven't seen the story. Sorry about that. I did say it was a spoiler review, so that's on you, honestly. But this show is nuts because it just kind of goes, oh yeah, it turns out this is just an island, and the whole world is out there looking at this island in disgust because everybody on that island can turn into Titans because they all share this bloodline. And yeah, it's pretty nutty. And there's this whole like big old sorry, it's just such a clusterfuck that I'm really struggling to get the words together to explain the lore of Attack on Titan in one breath. And it's impossible because there's so much. Just say there's a video out there explaining the whole lore. Go watch that if you're interested. If you haven't seen the series, please just do yourself a favor and watch it at this point. I don't know what else I can say to convince you. So, yes, overall, racism bad. There you go. That's what we needed to hear. And, yeah, the season was nuts, because they got to the sea, they got to see the Umi, and they got to, see that there is a world out there. There is other people who hate their guts horribly. And Eren was just like, so if I kill all of them, will we be free? If I kill every single person? And I mean, yeah, I guess, but it'd be kind of like, causing genocide at that point. On like the billions of people scale. Anyway, let's get on to probably my favourite season of Attack on Titan. Tatakae! Sorry, I had to do it. Anyway, so, final season of Attack on Titan, Part 1. So, this season is honestly probably my favourite just because of the themes and everything that kind of like came together to be one big ol' I can't stop watching this conspiracy theory. This was the season that made me go, okay, this is nuts now. This has got to be one of my favourite series. Because, dear lord, the amount of, like, detail they put into all of the backstories, and even the, season 1's, those parts, they were all leading to this, and you can tell. If you go online and look up, stuff like, foreshadowing on Attack on Titan, there's some really good videos out there that show off, these things that obviously, were always there. But since we didn't know they weren't. It's that sort of logic. Since we don't know they were there, they don't exist. But when they do exist, it's like, oh, now that I look back at it, no shit. It's that sort of thing. And they do a really good job at that. Especially at the beginning, where they show off a war going on between two countries. I cannot remember for the life of me what they were. I just remember that we've got Gabby, which everybody loves Gabby. And I don't know why. I don't know why everybody loves Gabby. Gabby's such a good character, Like, alright, I get it. Gabby is really annoying to people. But just remember, Gabby is the Eren Yeager of that side of the world. Yeah. So you can't really hate on her too much. She's literally just the Eren Yeager of that army. So, if you like Eren Yeager, you kind of have to like her, just saying. So it starts off with this war, and they're using Titans to invade the big old castle, and this pretty big brain stuff, turning the normal people, the Eldians, or I think that's what they're called, the Eldians, into pure Titans to basically just work as, destructive force. They don't actually care if they get killed. They'll just die. They're basically fodder. And I think that really does go to show how little the other races in the world think of the Eldians. They're basically, like, fodder for wars and racism. Racism, everybody. So, they win this war. Gabby's all like, yeah, I'm the coolest. I'm gonna inherit the Armor Titan. Woo! From Reiner, because Reiner's a depressed mess at the moment. He's not doing a very good job. And yeah, overall, there's been a whole, issue of, what are we going to do with these guys? There's just been this island of Eldians, and every ship we send to take over the island, it just disappears. It never comes back. We must send a war. We must declare war on this island. And, all that jazz, and Eren shows up, not so subtly. I mean, as soon as I saw the guy, I was like, yeah, that's Eren. Like, I mean, obviously I had seen his, design before. I've seen him with the long hair before, having seen the season. But as soon as I saw him, I'm like, wow, that guy's a bit sus. A bit suspicious. Fuck so. Why did I just say sus unironically? God damn it. Bit suspicious. And yeah, so the part where Reiner and Eren meet up in the basement, in a basement, not the basement, that was pretty nuts. It was just, oh man, Reiner shitting himself. Yeah, it was a really good scene, and obviously the big scene that everybody was going nuts about when it came out, the scene where, Eren bursts out of the building and, in the middle of the speech where he goes, this is a declaration of war! Just, it was nuts. One thing I will say about this show is, the CG isn't bad. I'm generally not a guy that likes CG. I don't like it in my anime. But I don't know what you all are talking about. This was perfectly fine. In fact, it was good. Like, it was good CG. Like, compared to the earlier seasons where you see the Colossal Titan, this CG is pretty dang good. So, I think overall, it's kind of just like, get over it, It's going to be there. Like, Wit Studio was kind of nuts and going overboard with the 2D animation of the Titans along with everything else. But honestly, I think the 3D worked just as well. Not better, don't get me wrong, the 2D is better, but I think it worked well enough to not be, really noticeable. Like, I saw it and went, yeah, that's 3D CG, but, like, it didn't, detract from the enjoyment of the show. So, I think when that happens, that's a good case of good CG. If it's a case where you look at it and go, oh god, that's disgusting, that takes away from the show. Whereas for me, with this, I was just kind of like, yeah, okay, looks pretty good. Yeah, it's not as bad as I, had heard. But yeah, overall, good stuff, really good stuff with the CG. And they did the fighting and all that jazz. The the Eldians from the island showed up, like Levi and Mikasa, trying to fight off the military. And we got introduced to a new Titan, the, what was it called? The Warhammer Titan, which, in theory, is so OP that I don't know why they didn't send that thing to the island, because it would have soloed everybody. Like, that thing basically would have just destroyed. It is a big Titan. It's like a, 15 meter or 20 meter, and it can basically create anything out of hardened Titan skin, or whatever you want to call it. And the part where the person isn't actually in the Titan, it's underneath them. So, Eren didn't even figure that out until, halfway through the fight. But, yeah, I mean, if the point is, if they send that Warhammer Titan at the beginning of the series, they would have taken over, because nobody would have knew that Titans came from people. I think that's the point they have to make. So, yeah, honestly, if they just, sent a full-on war party to take over, the Eldians on the island, it would have been so much better than just sending, 3 of these random dudes who don't know what the hell they're doing into these 3 kids that obviously don't really want to do what they're doing, to take over the entire island and to get the founding Titan back. But yeah, honestly, that's on the government for that. Just like that, I thought of a better idea. But anyway. So yeah, Eren is obviously much more powerful. He's basically just a Chad now. He's not crying, and he's not being captured. If anything, he captures himself. So, yeah, he gets himself captured just because he wants to. He likes getting captured. It's his hobby, alright? We can't judge him. Yeah, so Eren is a big badass man. We got to see Armin turn into the Colossal Titan for the first time. That was cool, because basically Armin was the, more or less the pacifist who doesn't like fighting. He doesn't like fighting or killing or any of that jazz, but he had to in order to save Eren. Because Eren just kind of jumped on into this giant city of, the bad guys and said, hey guys, come help me, if you don't I'll die. And they're like, well damn, I guess we gotta save you. Yeah, and overall, that was a very good first part, because it kind of just showed they mean business now. Eren is just going ham, like, damn, son. And yeah, then they go back home. And while they're going home, Gabby gets on top of a certain air cruiser and kills Potato Girl. I heard about that the day it happened, because Attack on Titan fans cannot keep spoilers to themselves. At least I said this is going to be a spoiler review, so if you're here, you have already watched it, and if not, why are you here? I'm sorry to say, but why are you here? Anyway, so Sasha dies in, like, a very tragic moment. Like, it was very tragic and traumatic, just, oh no, not Sasha. Not the Potato Girl. And, yeah, that was very sad, because then they have back flashes of different parts that happened between that season 3 and 4 with Sasha in it, and it just hurt. It hurt so much, man. And they even had a part where Gabby met up with Sasha's family and was pretending to be a an Eldian citizen, and oh god, it was such a pain. It was very painful to watch, because, you just knew it was going to just burn up in flames at any second, but, yeah. It was a very good season, because basically it was just a case of, we are just seconds away from everything hitting the fan, like, I'm just waiting with, my ass off the chair going, okay, when's shit gonna go down, like, I'm nearly there. And the amount of times Eren just kind of shows up being a badass, it's pretty cool, because Eren to this point has kind of been the I'll do it because I'm mad now, but now Eren's kind of like the calm, collected, I'm gonna get shit done kind of character, and I kind of like that Eren a lot more. I'm not really sure what specifically has made him like that right now, but we are in the middle of the part 2, so speaking of, let's get into that. So, clusterfucks, right? So, final season part 2 is pretty nuts. It makes every other season look like it's, a joke. This season basically collectively says, yeah, so pretend like, you don't know anything about the final season, because you really don't. Sorry, that was a bad way of putting it. Pretend like you don't know anything about the past seasons, because this season is about to blow your fucking mind. It basically just says, oh yeah, so how there was all these, racism problems and, the founding titan, what's that about, huh? Yeah, turns out that's all gonna be revealed in this. I can't go into too much spoilers because this is currently airing, and obviously we haven't finished yet as of recording. We're on episode 4. And yeah, there's just so much happening. To put it into, like the latest thing that happened, basically the war has started where, Zeke and Eren are trying to get together so that they can start the rumbling and awaken the founding Titan's powers. So, basically, god, Eren gets fucking 360 no-scoped by Gabby. That's like the most notable thing to me. And then, of course, Zeke catches his head as it's flying off his body. And yeah, then, the founding titan awakens, and they get to go, oh yes, well, let's go back and see the father's memories, and yeah, this is a real part where it's like, god damn, how do they do this? How do they do it? And I cannot explain what is happening, because I myself am confused. I get it, but I'm confused. It's that sort of thing where it's like, okay, I understand, but I cannot explain what the fuck is happening. So basically, I don't want to put any more words on it. It's basically just watch it if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's only in Japanese at the moment. It should be getting a dub soon, but yeah, the Japanese is really good, so just watch it. It's good. yeah, I am really excited for the new episode coming out in a couple of hours as I'm recording this. So, yeah, I don't want to make a video every week explaining what happened in this episode, because I'm not qualified to do that. I'm no Attack on Titan historian. But I do want to put my opinions out there, being that Attack on Titan is a classic. It's a modern classic. And if they don't botch this ending, it will be probably the best anime. Full stop. Definitely not for everyone. It's not for everyone. If you don't like gore, horror, that sort of stuff, you don't like mindless fighting, this show isn't for you. But if you like a good conspiracy thriller, a good action show, this show is great for you. So, if you haven't already watched Attack on Titan, which I find to be quite hard to believe because it is, so up there in the popularity and ranked charts, and I was so late to the party, I was probably the only person left on the earth who likes anime who hasn't watched Attack on Titan. I myself will say, watch it. It's worth it. It is worth the, 80 episodes that it's up to right now, just to finish it. So, yeah. Anyway, that's all for this part of the season. Back to the outro. And there you have it. That is my overall opinions of Attack on Titan. This probably is going to be a bit of a longer video than usual, but I just wanted to throw everything, throw it at a wall and see what sticks. Not literally. I just wanted to, throw up my thoughts on Attack on Titan, and I just needed to vent about it because I haven't really had much to talk about. And at this point, this is literally, the first time I have gotten into Attack on Titan. I literally binged the entire series within, 3 weeks, maybe 2. So, yeah, it's quite good. It's good, to put it mildly. Yeah, so anyway, thank you all for watching if you've made it this far. It's a, big support. I love it when people, can sit down, just sit back and relax. I'm here to not, I'm not here to keep your mind entertained. I'm not here to, keep your attention span. I'm here to just talk. So, I really appreciate people who can make it through these videos. I know I'm not the most, I'm not the best at talking, as you can tell, but I try my best. It doesn't help that I'm a dehydrated idiot, so, there you go. Overall, thank you all for watching once again. I'll say it so many times until until you guys understand that I'm thankful. Anyway, hit the like button if you liked the video, dislike it if you didn't, leave me a comment telling me what you thought of Attack on Titan or any parts in specific you want to talk about. Also, let me know if you want more videos like this, like longer videos where I talk about arcs and seasons of longer shows. I'm more than happy to do that sort of stuff. Yeah, subscribe if you're new to the channel, ding the bell button, all that jazz, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.